Hello everyone and welcome back to a car profile where we are looking at the Lexus RC F GT3 car. If you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe to the channel. I do these car profiles every single week and this is the next car we are looking at them. This has a 5-litre V8 naturally aspirated engine, front-engined rear-wheel drive, 6 gears as well to choose from as you race this car. Some key notes for this car then. It was the very first manufacturer's champion in terms of the Gran Turismo championships. Igor Fraga has driven this car in real life. Of course, Igor races in the championships as well. And there's a livery in the game that you can choose from. 3 in total. The BOP is on your screen there for you then. 498 brake horsepower, 1,300 kilograms across all 3 BOPs at the moment. That hasn't changed as we've gone through the GT7 lifespan at the moment. This car has been running since 2017, this car. So it's been in championships all around the world and for a very long time. This car does suffer with some power oversteer down in first and second gear being very dangerous, and third gear a little less dangerous, but it's still there. Let's jump to the car profile test then, where we start off with the low speed circuit here in the Lexus RC F GT3 car at Laguna Seca. So Laguna Seca, of course, the low speed BOP is what it's been decided by Gran Turismo. We've got a medium and high speed as well, and we do all 3 tests. We're racing the Porsche 911 RSR here, which has the fastest lap in terms of the videos, but we also look at that Optimum down at the bottom as well. Heading through Sector 1 then, only just down on that Porsche 911. I did find out of Turn 1, first gear was better, but it's very dangerous to do, where you can short shift and pull out the corner and it'd be fine. However, as you get to the top end of the revs is where it starts to oversteer a little bit. Same on this corner here, second gear, high revs, meant that it did rotate a little bit, and that's how the car really handles itself, really. As we go through the kink, nothing really to worry about there as we went through that kink. And as we head towards the corkscrew, FR cars don't really struggle here. They really don't. However, as we go on the brakes and start to turn into this, because we're so low in the gears, it does suffer with a bit of oversteer. You can see that I'm trying to control it, keeping the car as straight as possible. Through the left we go. We're only a 10th down on the Porsche 911, so this car's showing some strength here as we go into the final part of Laguna Seca. Just running a bit wide there, missing the apex slightly here. That's why we look at Optimums as we go in towards the braking zone for the final corner. We do short shift to second gear because first gear was just too oversteery on exit then. And we're going to head towards the line and see what kind of lap time this is. Do we beat the Porsche 911? No, we don't. We're 2.5 temps down. That's not too bad though, to be honest. And you can see an Optimum down there. Did it improve though on lap 11? That is the question, and that is the leaderboard we are about to look at then. So we didn't get the overall fastest lap here at Laguna Seca, but where does it fit on this leaderboard? It's P6 there. So it's not too bad. It's 4 tenths off the overall P1 there, but I would say it's in that meta category, to be honest with you. It's there with the Supra. It's there with the BMW M6 GT3 car. It's looking like a very good car indeed, this Lexus RC F. There's the other 10 cars we have done then, all the way down to that 4GT LM race car spec 2. And that is the 20 we've done so far. We are doing all of these, folks, so do prepare to going into the new year. He's going to keep on coming. And if there's a patch where a BOP is changed, we will review the car again, but not in a video form. I'll just tell you what's updated. So Suzuka is the medium speed BOP test, and going into turn 1, this car can handle that very nicely. In fact, it gives you a bit too much confidence because I kept going too wide in the end because I wanted to push the car even harder. This first sector, in third gear, you handled it very nicely. And if you get into the top end of the revs, the car spins its wheels a tiny bit. I did talk about that. Third gear being a little bit dangerous, but not too dangerous. And it allowed the car to rotate a little bit. And we get a 33.6 there. We're only just behind the Toyota Supra in Sector 1, the fastest car we've done here at Suzuka. This car was very good in Sector 1. I can tell you it went even quicker in Sector 1. That is not the best Sector 1 we have done. I went through Tidgney 1. Oh, that bump. Wasn't too happy on that bump. It did manage to handle it okay compared to a lot of other cars, but it's definitely a riskier business to take that. And you can see that with the time. We're now 2 tenths down on that Toyota Supra. This hairpin, very sketchy in this car because obviously in first gear, it's going to spin its wheels. So I had to really straighten up before I could really get going. It did mean I had to delay the throttle input, therefore slow myself down on exit. You could get the exit in second gear, but all the power is in the top end of the revs in this car. It really is. Head towards Spoon then, turns in very nicely. We're going to head out wide, and what we're going to do is drop to second gear and try and get it rotated. We short shift to third because high end, even in third gear there, the rear wanted to rotate, but in second gear, it just flies around that rear. You do have to be careful of that power oversteer. The top end of the revs are dangerous in this car. Let's see what kind of time we're looking at then at the end of Sector 3 here. We're nearly 4 tenths down on that Toyota Supra. Going through 130R, 147, 148. That's pretty good speed through 130R, to be fair, as we go hard on the brakes. This car has very good brakes, to be honest with you. Really does have good brakes as we go into the left-hander here of the Casio triangle, or the left-handed part then. We're going to head towards the line. Where are we going to see then? Where's it going to fit in terms of the leaderboard here? This is actually the final lap there, and we get 159.3, 3.5 tenths down on that Toyota Supra. And you can see the Optimum down at the bottom, you eagle-eyed viewers. That was a 159.1. So we know that's not going to be top of the Optimum leaderboards, but where is it going to sit? P6 again. It's got Steve's curse here. Another P6 then for the Lexus RC F, but it's not that far off. Again, it's very much up there with the Meta cars there. The AMG Mercedes is up there. Do you know what I'm saying? The Supra. It's very much up there, this car. Very much up there indeed. A big surprise to me so far as we're going through this bot test. Now, we've done the low speed. We've done the medium speed. It's now time for the high speed bot test. And we did lose out, actually, in the high speed parts of Suzuka. So I'm not expecting the car to do very well here. Well, let's kick off this lap all the same. Let's see where we end up here as we cross the line to start lap number 10. We've just got a fastest lap on lap number 9, actually, there. 202.153. So we know we're quicker than that. Down at the bottom, you can see an Optimum there as well, a 201.6. So we know 201s are definitely possible here. And we are racing the BMW M6 GT3 car, which is currently the fastest car in terms of the high speed here at Bathurst. And we are identical. Sector 1, identical. I've not had that so far doing these car profiles, but there we have it. Bang on the money, identical as we continue on through here. Going through that right-hander, it did suffer on exit a little bit with that third gear. I've talked about it already. A little bit dangerous in third, very dangerous in first and second. As long as, if you're lower in the revs, it's fine. But if you go into the higher revs, so I was in the low revs there, second was fine. Going through here, oh my word, it could handle itself very nicely through here. Look at that, nearly flat out. You can do it flat out if you nail it. Going down here then, I stay in fourth gear. I found out a little bit better as I continue on through. And as we go over the crest of the hill there, turning in fourth gear. Really should have kept it in fifth there, to be honest with you. So definitely can do that a little bit quicker as we start to go down the mountain. And we are 1.5 tenths down that BMW M6. Going through this left-hander, it did struggle a little bit here. Not as much as MR cars. It wasn't a weight transfer issue. Again, it was the power oversteer. Being in the top end of the revs, it really did struggle there. Going through this left-hander then, we're going to really exit out there as quick as we can. And it settles itself down very nicely, to be honest with you, there as we leave that corner. What we're going to do now then is head towards the next sector line. So we are up on our time here, obviously, because this is the fastest lap. But we're not up on that BMW M6. We're 1.5 tenths down on that BMW M6. As, oh, hello, we're up, folks. We've absolutely nailed the mountain here. Not even our fastest sector 3 here. And we are up on that BMW M6 GT3 car as we go into the final couple of corners then. Clipping the curb there. That's a bit of a mistake there. We shouldn't have really done that as we continue on that round. Then going to head towards the last corner and look for that tree on the right-hand side. Now, into the brakes we go. The exit of this corner was a bit tricky. Second gear, of course. I did talk about the power oversteer. You can see a little bit of a wiggle there as we head towards the line then. As we were up on the BMW M6. We are still up on the BMW M6. It's a new fastest lap here in the car profiles with the Lexus RC F GT3 car. Now, I thought this car wasn't quick in a straight line. Maybe it's not. Well, I'll look at the top speed test shortly, but it was top on fastest laps. It doesn't quite get the Optimum, though. It's off by 0.02 of a second. It is up there, folks. This car is very much up there. Very strong car indeed. It surprised me here at Bathurst. It really did. And when I saw the Optimum, I was like, 206 is fast. As I was going around, I was like, that's fast. I'm sure that's fast. 201s are always fast here. And my word, was it fast. It's P2 on the boards. P2. So we're going to jump to some fuel and tyre tests now because, of course, we need to test this in this car. So I changed these recently. If you didn't see the previous video, top left, we've got automatic fuel map 1. Bottom left, automatic fuel map 3. Top right is half shift. Bottom right is half shift plus fuel map 3. Remember, the bottom right one is the best way to save fuel in terms of maximizing your fuel. Half shift, just short shifting, is the best way to save fuel, period. And then on the left, we do the auto FM1 because that's where the game will change you and it helps automatic drivers. And bottom left will also tell you how the fuel map works as an overall there, making sure the shifts are right. So what we've learned from this already is that you do rev this car out. Top left has finished first there with the fuel map 1 on automatic. And it's finished there with 25.2. Next one to finish is the half shift there, top right hand side. And we saved, what's that? 6% fuel there by finishing 3 tenths later on in terms of this test. Looks like the bottom left is going to finish next, which is the auto fuel map 3. Definitely shows you that you do rev this car in terms of getting the maximum performance. Just under 26 seconds there, 67%. So the difference there, half shift and auto fuel map 3, you can see there they're identical in terms of fuel saved, but the half shift is quicker. And down in the bottom right there, we finished with 74% fuel, the maximum way of saving fuel if you really need to save that last little drop of fuel. Now, where does it sit on all these leaderboards? Well, let's jump into the details then. So maximum RPM, it's not up there in terms of performance, which we sort of can gather by the times. We know it's 25, was it 2 or 3? I can't actually remember. Let's jump to the next part of the lead. So it's 25.2 there. 61% fuel though. That's really good fuel usage, if I'm honest. That's higher than everyone, actually. So the best on fuel, even though it's middle of the road on performance. That's an interesting one. Okay. So we go to the half shift then. We know we have to rev this car, so I don't expect it to go into this top 10 leaderboards. But I want to have a look at the fuel, because if the fuel was so amazing on the last one, where is it on this one? 67%. It's not the best now, but it's still up there in terms of performance and fuel usage. It really is up there, to be honest with you. Like matching the Porsche, but saves 2% more fuel. Really interesting. It doesn't fuel save as well, because it was one less. As we go to the fuel map 3 and auto now, so obviously this is maximizing the revs, but using that fuel map. Where's it going to sit? We've been P11 both times so far, I believe it was, or around that area. And 67% fuel, again, it doesn't use fuel, this car. So it really is one of these cars where if you want to go into a race where it's just about there on fuel, this is the car to choose, it appears. The maximum fuel saving then, so the one in brackets, of course, is compared to fuel map 1 in terms of the auto. It's not in the top 10 once again. Let's go to the final one then. So P16, so it does lose some performance here, which we expected. We know this. But in terms of fuel save there, it does fuel save very nicely indeed. 74% fuel. So as you start to fuel save more, it does struggle. But it's there with the Aston Martin DBR9 GT1 car. We know that saves the best amount of fuel. And it's there with it in terms of fuel levels. So this car, fuel race, go for this car. That's what I will say. Right, we go to the Tyre Wear test now. We got 2 tests for the Tyre Wear. Let me explain both of these if you are new to the car profiles. This first one is on the oval, flat out until the first tyre wears. The reason for this is it minimizes any human interaction. Of course, braking, accelerating, turning, they all have an impact on tyre wear. Now, weight is also a key part of tyre wear in Gran Turismo, not so much in GT7 as it was in GT Sport. So this is really testing the weight of the car and how the car naturally uses its tyres. That's what we're testing here, okay? And what we do, we're just going round and round and round until we get to the end of the tyre, which is always going to be the rear right tyre here on this oval. We're getting closer and closer and closer here. And what we're looking to do then is on the right side, you see we've done 2 laps already. What we're going to do is add those 2 laps also to this 30.366 because we've just run out of tyres right now. And that gives us an overall time in terms of how long the tyre lasted. That's the idea behind that. What we're also going to do, and this is the sort of a newer test, we've only done 10 cars, including this car, on this test. By the time you see the next car profile, they will all be done. There will be 21 cars on that leaderboard. However, we go to Sardinia Sea, and we keep doing laps here. We've gone to lap number 5 now until the tyre wears out. So obviously, there's going to be more implications here. My braking, accelerating, turning, everything in between there in terms of human interaction. However, it still tests the car in a real-world environment, and it should give us a good idea-ish of how the car handles itself. And that's what we're doing here at Sardinia Layout C. Not too many corners, very easy to do repetitive driving, and it should give us an outcome. We're doing the same thing again, so that 35.165 you see in the center of your screen is added to the other 4 laps there on the right-hand side as we've run out on lap 5. Lap 5 is normally the standard. We have seen some cars go into lap 6. What we're going to do then is we're going to summarize all of that up into all these tables for you. And on the oval, it's P2. This car, very good on its own in terms of tyre wear. But you may remember a key fact I've mentioned in this entire car profile, okay? And that key fact with this car is that it suffers with power oversteer low down in the gears. And that's what's going to happen on this circuit tyre test, I'm sure, because I've already edited this bit, so I can tell you exactly. It's going to come home in P4, so it drops down the order a little bit. And it's because of that oversteer. You get a tiny bit of wheel spin in there. It's going to cost you in terms of tyre wear, and that's where it ends up there. You can see that with the 401. So it's still up there in tyres, but it's not quite as far up as some of the other cars are, essentially, from when it's no human interaction to human interaction. Top speed-wise, not in the top 10, which is crazy to me, bearing in mind it's top in the high-speed pop test, but of course it's not all about the high speed, it's how it handles itself on a high-speed track. And the Lexus there, 169 miles an hour, so very much in that core. And of course it beat the BMW M6 at Bathurst, which also had the 169 miles an hour. Overall then, it's a meta car, this car. This is very much a meta car there. A 522.179. It's there with the AMG. It's there with the McLaren. You know, that category of cars, McLaren upwards, they are the meta cars that we know of in Gran Turismo 7. And they're the non-meta cars that you're seeing right now. Now, if there is a car profile you haven't seen, they're all there. You've just seen the list of them. Let me know in the comments. I add up all the votes. I'm a little bit behind on comments, but I am going to catch up with them. And to make sure you don't miss out on the car profiles in the future, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you did like this video, give it a like as well. It helps me out massively, and I appreciate all the support. Unfortunately, folks, that is it for this car profile. There's another one there to check out if you want to see what happened with that car. Alternatively, if you want to see the Beat the Meta, where I took this on versus Meta cars, it's there in the right-hand side. That's it for me. Once again, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.